Welcome to your Daily 5 for Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. Over the weekend, I watched a Mexican slasher film from 1989 titled Hell's Trap. And I went into this movie, I will freely admit, not expecting all that much, based on the cover art, which appeared to have something of a cross between a Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street villain. I thought, okay, this is a Mexican ripoff film of more popular genres. I've certainly watched enough Italian films that are those type of things and been very entertained by them. So I went and I thought, okay, hopefully this just has some entertaining kills and some fun stuff in it, and I'm not really expecting much. But I gotta tell you, this movie really surprised me. I liked this movie far more than I thought I would, to the point where I would actually say that this is a bit of a hidden gem. I often qualify some of these reviews by saying, I'm not telling you this is a hidden gem or people are sleeping on this one. But this is a case where I'm not going to tell you that it's a great movie that people have overlooked, but I think that it often gets lost in the shuffle among films because of the premise sounding like it's just a kind of traditional ripoff film in a foreign country, or that it looks like it's just adopting kind of villain iconography from better movies. And it really isn't that. It's a fairly straightforward film. I'm not going to tell you that this is, a Usual Suspects level maze of narrative interesting throughways, but it is a better film than you would expect to even watch the trailer for it, because, and this is something that is generally missing from films like this, I really liked the main characters of this movie. The acting, the kind of the way they were written, there was just something about the core three characters. There's really seven. There's seven main characters, but the three that are the protagonists, I would say, of the movie, or at least the ones that we are meant to identify as the heroes of the story, I really liked them. And that would be Nacho, Alejandra, and Charlie. The three of them came off like old friends. That Alejandra in particular for this time period felt like a very strong female character, which was unusual in films like this. In fact, I'll just tell you, there's no nudity in this entire film. There's no nudity. There's no rape, which is very surprising because there were a couple of points where I was sure that's where the movie was going, and I was very happy it didn't. And I actually like the villain overall. The villain's backstory is really nothing, but the mask that the killer is wearing is genuinely creepy. The glove, while very much coming off like a lesser version of a Freddy Krueger glove, is interestingly visually effective in some scenes because it does seem like, and they don't really do enough with it, but there does appear to be some actual utility to it where you could see this thing being used to climb or hold onto surfaces because of the way it's shaped. There's a couple of parts where he puts his hand on a tree and it wraps around the tree, which is, like I said, it did seem to have a function to me, which is unusual for a movie where they're just, to look at it, you would think, okay, they wanted this killer to have a mask and a sharp glove. So they basically did their version of Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger. And on the surface, it would look that way, but it really works better than you would think. But the whole movie is like that. The whole movie works better than you would think. And at the end of it, the deaths had some actual impact, which normally in movies like this, it's nothing. You're just trying to watch the villain kill the characters in fun ways, and you don't really care. But I have to admit, I was rooting for certain characters to make it in this movie that didn't, and I was actually kind of bummed out when they didn't. So, again, you look at this movie, you read about it, even some of the reviews, you think, okay, this is just another disposable kind of slasher, cash-in, trend-chasing, whatever. And it really is better than that, to the point where I really would recommend people, if you are a slasher fan and you haven't seen this movie, don't be put off by the way it looks and reads, actually watch it. Again, I don't want to oversell it too much, but at the same time, I was genuinely surprised by some things in this movie. I found myself engaged with the characters, and I really enjoyed an 80-something minute film, not even that long, which I normally am entertained by watching something once, but this is something I want to revisit because in fact, I'll probably have my wife watch it because I think even she'll be surprised. I won't tell her anything about it. I want her to go in not knowing anything, and I think she'll be shocked by some of what happens in there too, but in a good way. So again, it's from 1989. It's a Mexican slasher film. I'm using the English title, which is Hell's Trap. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the Spanish title. I'll let Lando do that when I talk about it on Friday. Really, really fun slasher film that you may have overlooked. Later.